What's up, YouTube? First and foremost, want to thank all my subscribers. Keep rocking and rolling with me, growing every single day. Please hit the subscribe button if this is the first time here and if you like my content. If you don't know what to put as a comment, I ask everybody to don't drop a comment. It really does help push me in the algorithm. It shows, you guys know it helps out. So I do this just to remind you, but I know a lot of people don't know what to put as a comment, man. Put a W, put a WW, put a smile face, put a hi, put an alien face, put a thumbs up. I respond to 99.9% of my comments, so I ask that, you rock with me. Today's video is going to be about risk versus homelessness, risk versus rewards. I guess before I jump into that, I do have a Cash App. It's the same as my YouTube name, AlienAscend. I'm not begging. I put it in this subscription. I put it in the description, and I normally mention it towards the end of the video as well. So that's something that I do. It's a great way to support me. I'm not begging, like I said. I do get donations from time to time, and I want to throw this out there. If you give me a donation and you want me to shout you out, put it in the message of the Cash App. Shout me out, and I ain't got no problem doing that. So far, nobody's said that. And another thing too is if you shoot me a donation and you want me to talk to you on the phone or anything like that, shoot your phone number. I have no problem calling you. I'll probably call block because I don't want anybody prank calling me in the middle of the night or my number being leaked or something like that. Not saying that you guys would do that, but I'd probably give you guys a call if you guys wanted me to. It's no problem. So I'm gonna jump into this video. Homelessness, risk versus rewards. So I'm gonna talk about some risk versus rewards, of course, in my personal life. But I wanted to say something that's applicable to maybe the people that are watching this, because maybe you guys aren't homeless, maybe you guys aren't going through a whole lot. But I do want to give something that's applicable. So let's say marriage, for example, right? Let's say you're a guy, because my analytics tell me that it's something like 80 or 90% of men and like 10% women. So let's say that you're a man, right, and you marry a woman, and let's say that you live in the United States. You're going to weigh your options. Should you marry that person? Should you have a prenuptial agreement? What do you actually get from this marriage? Of course, when you have children in your family and stuff like that, the kids can go ahead and say, mom and dad are married and they're a happy home. And sometimes it's not a happy home. Sometimes there's really bad divorces. Sometimes they take half your stuff. All that kind of stuff. You have to look at risk versus rewards. Now, I do believe in marriage, but the way that I believe in marriage is totally different. Like, I believe that if you say your vows and you say it in front of God and you swear upon God and you have that intimacy with that woman, you don't need to go to the courthouse and sign something. However, I know that if you stayed in I think depending on the house that you're depending on living domestically, I guess, or however it's called, I know that people could get marriage rights after 7 years. Why I believe that it's important for marriage, in the eyes of God, is because I'm religious in that way. But I don't believe in man's law with marriage. So risk versus rewards. I want, first and foremost, there's zero chance of me ever getting married or anything like that, and I'm okay with that. I've been single for a very long time and probably going to be that way, and I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? This is something applicable to you. That's why I'm using this as an analogy, if you will. But so if you got married, if I got married to somebody and it's man's law and there's courts and stuff like that, why I don't want that is, one, I live in my car. I guess I should throw this out first. I do live in my car. I am homeless. If this is the first time you watch one of my videos, I have a video, full story of how I became homeless. I suggest you check that out. Check my other videos out too. I have over 1,000 subscribers. I need to run those watch time hours up. I need about 1,500 more before I can actually submit to be monetized. Doesn't mean I'm going to be, but I could submit a thing saying that I would like to be. But I meet all the requirements except for 1,500 watch hours. So if this is your first time watching a video, or if you've seen some of my videos, check out some of the other videos that you haven't seen that you might like, and that would help me out a lot. So I ask that you do that when you have a chance. If you're cool with it, you know what I mean? But back to my analogy. I don't want man's law to make it hard for two people to separate. I know people that are in marriages now that now and a long time ago that women would have walked away, and not just men, women would have walked away, but they were stuck in a contract. You know what I mean? That's basically what it is. There's men that would have left a lot sooner, and there's a saying, and I believe it. Why does divorce cost so much? Because it's worth it. almost anything that's cheap isn't worth it. There's different strokes for different folks, and I'm talking in broad strokes right now. But so that's one way to look at it, right? Is on any major decision, like I believe it's something like 80 or 90% of our lives are responding, like basically is a response from us of life happening, and big decisions always need to be looked at as risk versus rewards, or maybe I shouldn't say always. In my opinion, that's how I look at things. Does this make sense? Does this not make sense? And try to find some room about it. So in my homeless situation is a lot of people that watch this, and I get comments, quite often about you have a CDL, what are you doing being homeless, right? Well, if you watch Why I Quit Trucking, yes, I'm kind of scarred up on some stuff that happened with truck driving. However, yes, I do have my Class A, and yes, I have my tanker endorsement. Yes, my physical is still in good standing. Yes, I don't drink or do drugs. I have nothing against my driving record. I have a very good my Class A is in great standing. Basically, I've been inspected 5 times. I passed each inspection. As far as I know, I don't think that ever drops off, but I could be wrong. But I know that I still have that documented, showing that I've been inspected 5 times and I always follow the rules. So in a situation like that, risk versus reward, and I talked a little bit about this on my live, and I can go live, but it's I need to wait about another week and a half before I can do it without limitations, because right now it's only sending out to 25 of my subscribers or whatever. So I'm still being limited on that. But so the risk versus reward role, it's all over, but all over the United States. Because if I went into a truck right now, I'd be OTR. I'd go over the road, which I have good experience doing that. Because I haven't driven a truck for a long time, the research I've done with recruiters and talking about stuff is more than likely they're going to want to throw me in a truck with a refresher course, is what they would call it, because you haven't driven a truck for a while. They're going to throw you with a trainer. Now, then I would be like, okay, well, what are the training requirements? Well, a lot of the companies I've looked into, some people could be driving trucks, so they can get their license now, and in 3 months from now, they're willing. That company's willing to let them be a trainer. There's some that's 6 months. There's some that's 9 months. There's ones that don't require, require less than a year and never driven in the snow in the winter before. I'm not comfortable with getting in a truck with somebody who's only been driving for 3 months and the weather's like this in most of the United States. We're in winter. January and February are some of the worst months. March in different states like Wyoming. Wyoming is going to be all over the place till after April, and that's the God honest truth. There's a lot of steep declines, a lot of inclines. There's downgrades. There's a lot of certain places that you have to have experience knowing how to deal with it. Like driving down this place called the Cabbage, going through Washington. Actually, I think it's Oregon. Going into Oregon, there's this pass called the Cabbage. And if there's even a little bit of ice on there, you shouldn't go on there. Or, I've seen people smoke their brakes out going down that, right? Risk versus reward. How can I peacefully sleep knowing that, and you never know what kind of trainer you can get. I mean, after I got my Class A license, I was with somebody who had been driving over 20 years. This dude had a diesel mechanic. He used to be a diesel mechanic, and he was in the Air Force. I think he was in the Air Force. He basically was in a branch of military for a very long time as well. And that dude taught me everything, and that dude was awesome. Shout out to him. But there was a lot of people that when I was in trucking school was with people that they used them as steering wheel holders and stuff like that, and wasn't really comfortable sleeping in the truck. I normally can go to sleep in the back of a truck and not have any problems, because when I was running OTR, I did a little bit of training myself, and I had people on my truck before. Well, I had one person on my truck before, and taught him the ropes and everything else. And then there's other times where I've taught people where it's not over the road, but it was regional. I was driving at night and coming back in the day, and there were several times where I helped people out in the yard, show them stuff, have them jump in the truck, but not a living situation. I've also had people in the truck where I had to drop them off at a location, or I was showing them a route, something along those lines, you know what I mean? Or taking them to the mechanics and stuff like that. But basically, it's risk versus reward. So in a situation like that, um, I don't think that I'd be able to sleep. I think I'd be a nervous wreck, because of this weather. Now, during summer, or let's say it's towards the end of February, if I really need to go back to trucking, am I contemplating it? Of course I am. I just know that right now I would be a nervous wreck, and I would not be any good. I'd be like, how, like, I'd probably get sent home from orientation, because I'd be like, I need to know who I'm getting in the truck with. I need to know, have they, and if they're like, this person's only been driving 6 months, no, I'm not. I'm not going to get in the truck, dude, and I cannot be able to go to sleep. I'm unable to sleep if you've only been driving 6 months and you never did a winter OTR. You don't understand how crazy it can be. That's just my comfort level. So risk versus reward, no. Outside of winter, yeah. And then people could say, well, what about those still steep downgrades and the different areas and stuff like that. I'd feel more comfortable knowing that there's not ice on the road, that there's not snow, that there's not too much of a crazy condition going on. I'd feel more comfortable at that point. So that's literally what it comes down to, is my risk and reward. There's other risk and reward too. There's some people, I've gotten comments of people saying they're thinking about being homeless to save money. And yeah, you can be homeless and save money, but there are things that are going to come up, or there are things that could come up. Like, I haven't been able to save any money being homeless. I didn't expect for me to use so much gas. I didn't expect for food prices to jump up. I didn't expect I do Uber Eats and I do DoorDash. I didn't expect for the market to get so saturated. Like, they open up the flood doors and let everybody sign up and go ahead and do it. And unfortunately, a lot of people that do that, I'm trying to do it full-time work when those apps literally are meant for part-time. Or like part-time people, they're okay with making maybe $20 or $30 extra that day, right? Me, if I'm sitting all day and all I make is $20 or $30, I probably already spent half that on gas, and the other half is going to be maybe something to eat that day, and then I'm at negative. Like, what did I save that day? You know what I'm saying? So and I got a comment saying, why don't I chase the warmer weather since I'm in a car? Well, one of the things is money. If I had the money to go somewhere warm right now, or let's say I had the money to go there, well, once I get there, what are the gas prices like? What are the sleeping locations like? So I really have to look into everything. And I know that some people might feel like it's the word's like analysis paralysis, but I have to be smart about every little thing that I do. And sometimes it takes a lot of thought. And one of the things is I'm not acting out on emotion. I'm also not making any decisions on an empty stomach. I've always felt that way, that, if you make, don't go shopping when you're hungry. You're going to end up buying a bunch of stuff that you probably don't want, later on after you eat. But there's a lot of that stuff that, it feels like every little thing I do has to be calculated. And there is I guess a fear of making the wrong decisions, and nobody's perfect. But me trying to put my mind into stuff is, I'm always looking at risk versus reward. Okay, so if I did move from this area because of how cold I was last night, and thankfully I am alive and I'm okay, and my techniques of sleeping if you haven't seen my last video, I talked about homeless survival and what I had to do. It was -7 last night. At least that's what the map said, or the weather thing said. I know that I don't know what the wind chill was. For some reason, sometimes I get that information, sometimes I don't. But I'll tell you this much: it was really, really, really cold. But I was able to survive it. I mean, think about this: I'm sleeping right here, as you guys can see. I got all my stuff. I don't know if the camera can show it. I got all my blankets and my sleeping bag stuff right here. So just my arm going right behind this, the passenger seat. I had a 16-ounce bottle of water that wasn't frozen before I went to bed. That thing was frozen, so I was able to keep myself warm right here, but less than 2 feet, a bottle of water was frozen. That's kind of scary. That's kind of like, wow. Like, I know that I was okay here. I guess must have built myself a nice sleeping bag type igloo. I turned on my car and ran it when I needed it to. I revved it up so that the heat would kick on good, but literally right behind my passenger seat that had a bottle of water, and it froze. So, that's risk versus reward. I would have much rather, put my seat down and kept half my body in my trunk and half my body outside of it while I sleep, because it's more of a comfortable thing. Even though it's not 100% comfortable, it's a lot more comfortable than sitting, sleeping in the driver's spot. However, I knew that because the night before, I had to check my feet to make sure I didn't get frostbite, or that my toes didn't turn black or something like that, because my feet were tingling so bad because of how cold it was. So last night was a good decision of, I thought risk versus reward, right? So the risk is if I did that, I could lose my feet or be really frozen and everything else. The reward would be that I'm just, I was able to stretch all the way out, like I could lay down and not have that curve going on, that a driver's seat does. But I thought about it really hard. I'm like, you know what? But if I sit here, risk versus reward by sitting in the driver's spot, I can, the risk is I might not be able to get such good sleep. But the reward is that I will be alive, and I can start my car, and I can run the heat a little bit easier. I can run, hit the accelerator to rev it up so that hot air shoots out quicker, and that, that I know that I'll be okay, and that's exactly how it worked out. There's a lot of decisions that I do like that, so I do want to jump into, other decisions. And I encourage, if you're somebody who always looks at risk versus rewards, I encourage you to put that in the comment section. Am I the only person who does it? I know sometimes it really feels like outside of YouTube, I'm talking about like in real life, like in my everyday encounters, it really looks like people don't put much thought into anything. And I'm thinking to myself, like, these seem like important decisions. These seem like important things you need to consider. And that's where where I come in is I think about that stuff all the time. Like any little decision I make could cost me something. Like the way that I pay my bills. If I pay all my phone bill right now, I've been doing partial payments on my phone. It's been split up into little things. But if I go ahead and say, no, I'm gonna pay all of it, am I gonna be hurt next week because of that? It's definitely a lot of risk versus reward. So normally I would keep my videos a little bit over 20 minutes. This doesn't seem that long, but I did want to cover that. I ask that you shoot me a like, drop a comment, like I said, any kind of emoji saying hi. I do respond to 99% of my comments. If you want to bless me, show me some love, hit my Cash App. If you want me to shout you out, put it into the message. If you want to, if you actually want me to give you a phone call, I will. I'll probably call blocked, like I said in the beginning, just so that my phone number doesn't get leaked out. And I don't think that you guys would do that, but I just want to be on the safe side. You want me to give you a call, you want me to chop it up with you, it's no problem. And if you can run up those watch time hours, and I want to thank you guys so much.